God thinks I am, who I am and stuff like that. So I can do this, if I just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, then I will get to where I am.
Hello, and welcome back to our Breaking the Chains podcast. Do we have an exciting interview today with our 2026 graduates? I'm super excited. And first, I want to say congratulations to all of our 2026 graduates. Y'all have made it, and we're super excited about it. So first of all, we have Mr. Shaden Ferguson from Shepherd. We have Olivia Moore. And we have Miss Diane Vasquez, who has graduated from the University of Houston. So we have some very outstanding students here and graduates that I'm just super proud of. And so I have the opportunity to be able to interview them today, which is quite exciting. So I have some series of questions that I want to ask them because I know you're just as curious as I am. And so we're going to start with Shaden. So at what moment from high school will you never forget?
Probably having tea with my teacher, Mr. Hankey.
Mr. Hankey?
Yeah, sometimes whenever I'm in his class, it feels very joyful. You walk in, he has that kind of that accent.
Very vibrant energy about him.
Yes, and he's a really good teacher. Yeah. I mean, he pushes you to the max. His work may be long, but know, he really pushes you, and he really thinks outside the box. So he's a really good English teacher, in my opinion.
Well, that might be the exact reason why y'all are sitting in these spots right now. So I know, Diane, it goes way back to high school, but is there something that you remember that you won't ever forget when you were leaving Shepherd High School?
Well, I was really involved in a lot of activities in high school. I was an athletic trainer, I was in band. So I think the most exciting time for me was probably during football season because of the marching. And then I was also on the football field with the football players. I almost got tackled twice. It was really embarrassing. So I will never forget that. And I never looked back to the stand so they couldn't identify who I was.
Right. Well, I have to say this. I can remember when Angel was cheerleading and the football hit her right in the head, right in the middle of the game, and we had a trip to the emergency room. So y'all do have some challenging things that goes on in high school. And so, but next question, what does your future look like? I mean, I know that this graduation time, have you really even considered what you're going to do next?
Yes, I'm going to have, from sophomore year, freshman year, I didn't have a clear view. I was astronaut, NASCAR racer, and then life started getting closer. I was I'm gonna graduate in less than a couple months. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. I met a neighbor of mine in my neighborhood about 4 years ago. His name is John Perez, and from summer I started remodeling with him and whatnot. He was hey, when you graduate, I'll call you out. You can start working with me with the union, and you're making a lot of money. I was what am I going to be doing? He's be a bricklayer. And I looked into it. I was bricklayers do. I was you make good money, $50 an hour. Yeah. And it's downsides, chronic back pain by the time you reach 35. I was oh my God.
You can retire by then. Is that right?
Yeah, there you go.
I hope that's what I'm thinking for. I just want to retire early. So if I have kids, if that's what's planned for me, I can be there with them and whatnot.
But that's really cool that you've got goals, and and I believe that it takes that to get to this graduation point, because you have to set goals early to be able to graduate. And so I'm proud that you've already got something planned out.
I do agree. Yeah. It's important to have goals, but it's even more important to realize that as long as you have a vision, that it doesn't have to be exact, because a lot of times you're going to realize as you go to college, your future careers, adulthood, that you're going to fail, and that's okay. Yeah. But as long as you have a direction to go in, that's the most important thing.
Oh man, that's good, Diane.
What about you?
Olivia?
For my future, I am going to college. I will be going to Sam Houston State to major in forensic chemistry. Now, originally, whenever I was a kid, I personally wanted to be whenever I was a baby, I wanted to be an astronaut because I love space.
Yeah.
And then as I grew older, I was okay, maybe I want to be a meteorologist, because I love studying about weather and stuff like that. And then I grew up more, and also whenever I was in Livingston during the time of my sophomore, junior year, I was in these law enforcement classes. And that really, like, you know, spiked me up to, like, okay, I want to major in forensic, because, like, giving people justice that they need with, like, proof and stuff like that makes me happy for them. That's something I wanted to do, to serve, like, community and stuff like that.
That's a very intriguing. We watch a lot of detective movies, and so that is a very good career.
I remember when I was graduating high school, I had a very strict plan. And then I got to college, and not that anything necessarily like bad happened, but I realized this is the direction that I want to go in. And I changed my major 3 times, and then I moved to the University of Houston. But the biggest thing was I just kept going no matter what. And that's just what you have to do.
Yeah. Wow, that's very good advice. Question number 3, what had the biggest influence, or who had the biggest influence on the person that you've become today?
My mom.
Your mom?
It's gotta be. She's, you know, she's always there. Like, even when you think she's not there, she's always there. Like, nothing weird, but like, she's in the shadows. I know she is. Like, when I think she's not listening or watching, she is. You know, she's pushing me even when, like, I don't want to be pushed. Like, motivation that I didn't, like, want to find, or I didn't want to be anybody. She was like, you're gonna have to be somebody. It's gonna happen sooner or later, because you're not the type of person that's gonna be nobody. And I know that's who you are. And it was like, my personality from middle school to high school has changed dramatically. I mean, I used to, I'm not saying I was shy, but I was just like very, like, keep to myself. And like, I was a very weird individual. And then, like, my mom, she was like, I want you to have more, like, morals for yourself. I want you to have something for yourself and not based on what other people think, because you're gonna be like a pick-me person. And I want that for you, because you're gonna be my kid and, like, reflect on me. And, you know, she's a very, like, powerful person. She has a voice, and, like, you know, I feel like a lot of people don't hear her, but when she says something, you're gonna hear her.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was about to say, you don't hear her? Because I do.
Cause my family always say that about his mom. Like, you gonna hear her. She's blunt. If you ain't gonna hear it from Shaden, you're gonna hear it from her.
But you know, at the end of the day, that is the remarkable kind of people that leaves an impact in your life. You know, I mean, sometimes being a single mom is difficult, but like you said, never did she let you kids do without, and that was always something that I admired about your mom.
Throughout the years, I always took for granted what I had, saying I didn't have enough. But, like, seeing, like, how far she came with, like, raising 4 kids, it's not an easy feat. And I'm very grateful to be surrounded by people who I can call family.
Amen.
And not even by blood, just, like, to love another person and have compassion for them when you have a mutual understanding for a goal for one person. It's beautiful to see it come together. Like, I didn't think I was going to be here until, like, the day, like, my last day of school, like, our last day of school, and I was like, just flew by real quick. And I'm proud to have, like, my mom in that, because I know, like, God forbid, like, someone loses their mom, and I'm like, I'm just glad it didn't happen to me. That's why, like, I'll forever be like, I'll be eternally grateful for my mom.
Amen. Olivia, you, darling?
I think the biggest, like, cheerleader that's been in my life, or it's been really, you know, I have my family, but I think God has really impacted my life. I mean, regardless, I've been through a lot personally. As a kid, you know, I didn't have the best childhood. I was moving, like, schools back to back to back. I just kept struggling and falling because of my situations at the time. And, you know, that's whenever, I think around middle school is whenever I started to gain faith within God and started to build a relationship with Him. And as I kept growing and growing my faith and my relationship with Him, things got better. You know, obviously you have your struggles, you have your downfalls. You can pick up from where you fell, you know, and then fall again. But it's each time that you fall, you step up higher than what you originally started with. So I think personally, God has really helped me, put me where I am now. I was, like, you know, struggling really bad. I was always trying to, like, find perfection in everything, but I was like, God thinks I am, you know, who I am and stuff like that. So, you know, I really think He has really impacted my life. And look, I've been involved with band a lot. And I've gained so many opportunities through band. Band is really a program, you know, shout out to Miss Durden, by the way. But band has really impacted me to become the person I am now. And I thank God that I've been put in this situation, because it's definitely a challenge. You know, you go through all these rehearsals, you go through all these late, competitions, all these football games, sweating, you smell really bad, regardless. But it's the dedication that, what matters. And I think God has really, helped me grow and stuff like that.
Amen.
And,
That's really powerful, and I think that's something that everybody should work on, is their faith, because sometimes that's the only driving force that we have to get over obstacles. So that's pretty amazing. Anyway.
Oh, you want me to go too? I would also agree with Olivia. I feel like I've always had a strong faith with God, but I really honed in on it when I got to college, and I realized that there was a lot of things I needed to change about myself. I couldn't stay in my own ways because it wasn't right. And once I made those changes, I am not joking, everything in my life lined up so perfectly well. It was crazy, the change, just from like making myself better for Him,
Amen.
And it really made a difference in my life, and that's why I'm here today. And I also did pray to Him to help me pass this test. I promise I'll study harder. You have to do that. You can't break the promises.
Exactly.
There's been multiple times where I've did that throughout high school. I was like,
oh, you're going to keep doing it in college.
Yeah, you sure will do it in college. Going to the next question. So what is something that you're most proud of that most people don't even know about you?
Shoot. I'd probably have to say be a more humble person. Like, as I said before, like middle school, throughout that, I thought life was all sunshine and rainbows. I was like, man, I'm never gonna get older. And then I was like, school sucks, but it rocks at the same time. And then freshman year, same mindset. Sophomore year, same mindset. And junior year kicked in. I was like, okay, it's a little crazy.
me too.
And I realized, like, you can ask her, like, my junior year, I was super, like, I'm still a little bit annoying, but like I was super annoying. I was all in everyone's space. And then like I snapped on somebody, and I was like, I apologize. And I went home. I reflected on myself. I was like, what can I do to be better? And I was like, I just told myself, a little conscious, like, be humble. And then I think that's had such an enormous toll on how I've acted my senior year. Like, there's been some pretty like big bumps in the way, but like, I mean, just being here, that's an accomplishment as it is.
Yeah.
Just being here. Most people, they give up like before they even start.
It's so much easy. It's so easy to give up. It really is, because life's gonna throw things at you. So many different things can happen in your life, and it's really easy to quit and just give up or make an excuse as to why you can't go.
I planned on, I don't know why, I had like this thought in the back of my mind. I was like, just drop out, just get a job, drop out.
Because then you don't have to go to school no more.
Yeah.
But then what,
And I was
the
like,
goal, it's right there. It's at the tip of your fingers. You just got to keep going.
It's scary how some people graduate when they're not even in a situation where they should like give up. There's like people who have actual struggles that we don't see, and we just like, that's what I say. I keep staying humble, because if I'm like make a joke or I say this and I don't know anything about the environment around me, it just really puts like a sour taste in your mouth, and it's just like you don't want to live with that. From experience, you don't want to live with that.
Well, that tells me a lot about your maturity level too. And we grow into our maturity as we get older, and our mindset changes, and that's exactly what is happening to y'all right now. Olivia, what is something that most people don't know that you're proud of yourself for?
The dedication I put in for like everything. Me personally, if like for people who know me in classrooms, they know I always just try to get the answers right and stuff like that. Even for like, classmates and stuff like that, I really do try. For band, I try my hardest as much as I can. Even if I don't have the answer to help like my percussion kids, that I had to teach over this year, I still tried. I learned different instruments too to help them out as well. I think, and not you can easily give up, you know, like without the dedication you wouldn't be able to you know, get through high school, you know, and figure out what you want to do in life and stuff like that. And especially my dedication I put in a lot was the scholarships. The scholarships were very, very competitive this year.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm very blessed and grateful to, you know, put my, you know, all the late nights I stayed up until like 1 a.m. to get these essays done, and all the scholarships that I had to write. You know, I'm proud of myself because not a lot of people have the same dedication as I do. And I really do try to be the best person as I can, you know, when it comes to, you know, all these things. And even back like at families, you know, like for families, I've honestly like tried my best to help out with whatever they have going on. You know, I try to be their biggest cheerleader if I can't physically be there, and you know,
that's a good quality to have. Diane?
I guess thing that I'd be most proud of, I was told when I was younger, at probably middle school, that there was no way that I could ever get a full ride unless I was the smartest or I was like the top athlete, which I was not going to be either. There was really smart kids. I graduated number 2, but they were like, you need to be valedictorian, you need to go to a really good school. And honestly, I almost gave up. I thought, okay, well, everybody's right. But I did have a teacher that she showed me the scholarship. It's the Terry Scholarship. And she helped me with all the resources that I needed to do it. And I was shocked because I got it. And not because I didn't believe in myself, but because everybody else around me didn't make me think that I was gonna be able to do that before, like in middle school. And so I was really glad that I had someone to push me to do that and show me the opportunities, because they're out there. You just have to look for them. Yeah. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you being a graduate from college, I had some specific questions that I would like to ask you. Being the first one from your family to graduate, I know that I'm not exactly asking you how you feel. I just would like to know, how you did it. I mean, basically, I know there was not one specific person, but
yeah. Well, it was a lot easier when I realized I had a full ride. But I knew that even if I didn't get the scholarship, that I was going to do whatever I could to make sure that college happened, because I really wanted to go. This was the future that I wanted for myself. I had even calculated the hours I needed to work, where I was going to work before I'd even gone to college. And I was just, at my senior year, I was just very oriented in my scheduling and my plans with everything. I'm not so much that way anymore. Everything does change for you. But it was exciting, realizing that I had the opportunity, I was going to do it.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's really awesome. Another question for you, Diane. How did you really do it? I mean, staying focused through all the distractions, the loud classrooms, the late night studyings, the struggles of life. What was the real driving force behind
it? Was
you
a lot easier to keep going because I was so involved in everything. And so I was also in CNA and phlebotomy in high school. I think keeping myself so busy and like on this like really high drive to just keep going, that it's what made it easier. It made time go by so much faster. I had this every single day of the week. And so, of course, if you want to stay involved in those things, you have to have good grades. And then when I found out I was in the top ranking for the top of class, that just gave me my drive even more. So that's what did it for me. In high school, in college, it really was, I started the journey and now I have to finish it, no matter what.
Yeah, for me, I wasn't top 10%. I was I think 28 or 29, and that gave me the motivation to drive or to get through college. Hey, there's a lot of potential that you don't see that you have.
Exactly.
And that you got to keep going. You can't just stop now. So that's my main motivation for college.
You don't have to be the smartest. And that's what a lot of people are told to believe, that you have to be smart to go to college, or you have to be smart to do anything in life. You absolutely do not. It's about the connections that you make, and it's about the drive that you have. You're the only person that's going to get yourself to the next. And granted, if you have the opportunities and doors are open, that makes it a little bit easier. But you are the one that has to go to work, or you're the one that has to go to class and and do your test and everything. So That's just what I came to realize over the years, that I was the only person that was going to get me through it. Well, with support. I'm not saying I didn't have any support. I did. It really helped me out.
But you're your biggest motivation.
Yeah, you have to be, because you are with yourself. You know who you are, and you know what needs to be done in order to make things happen. No one knows you better than you, except for God, of course.
Exactly. A couple more questions. If you could go back to high school knowing what you know right now and been through the whole process, what advice would you give someone that's looking to go to college?
Yes, that one's a really important one. And any senior that I have talked to or junior in high school, I have said the most important thing you need to do is volunteer. Why do you need to volunteer, you may ask? Because regardless if you're the smartest person or not, there are a lot of people out here who do not volunteer, and a lot of scholarships ask you, what kind of charity work do you do? Are you a well-rounded person? And if you can list all these things that you've done for the community, for others, surprisingly, you're going to beat a majority of people, because you show that you care more than just about yourself. That you are an asset to their college now, because you are going to make a difference there too. So that was my biggest shock when I got to high school. Not that I didn't already volunteer, but how much easier it was to get scholarships because I did.
Yeah,
that's what they're looking for.
That's something that I, wish I could have did high school, was volunteer more. I wasn't involved in I wasn't in NHS, but I got back to Shepherd too late, so I couldn't be involved with it. There was a lot of things that I just personally didn't like, that I just didn't volunteer for because I didn't like it.
Right.
And that's something that I wish I could go back as well too.
And I do get the mindset. I remember back in high school, you want to hang out with your friends, you want to do your fun things, and that's why people don't realize that doing these other things, even if you don't want to do it, will really benefit you in the end.
Right. And it goes way back, because I've known most of y'all since y'all were just little bitty. And just coming to our Hug a Tree, Kiss a Fish, and the things that y'all didn't just come to play. You loaded up chairs. I mean,
That's
you
right.
cleaned up the property.
All of y'all.
And so all of
we were
y'all.
all part of the cleanup crew.
Exactly.
I mean, when was the first one we did? How long ago has it been?
I feel like
2013?
Something
Something
very
like
long
that.
ago.
I'm gonna be so for real. I don't remember that. But I think I was involved.
Yeah.
But I don't remember.
The first time, I know it's a little bit off track, but I remember the first time I met Teddy, he was sitting by the bench. You remember that one place that had the lake, that had the 3 slides on it?
yeah, that was
Channel Lakes, yeah.
Okay.
Channel Lakes. And I remember I seen some guy sitting on a bench. He was watching SpongeBob. I was like, and he was like, I'm Teddy. I was like, nice to meet you. And I mean, dude, it's like memory just like keep flooding back. I remember I'm like just flooding. I'm like,
Yeah, I remember.
how long ago was that?
Grammy's pretty good. Am I supposed to call you
Yeah,
Grammy
it's
or
fine.
Brenda?
Yeah, that's
Anyways, she would make us compete for who had the fullest trash bags as a way to pick up all the trash. And when I think about it now, I can't believe I was fooled, because that was just a lot of work I had to do to try and win. I don't think I ever won, actually. So, whatever. But
It was motivational, and
It
you got the
was.
job done, and it showed discipline, and it showed.
Wish I was a kid again. That's one thing I
to
like.
be fooled that easy, though,
I'd go back for it like all over again.
the
Yeah.
Hug a Tree, Kiss a Fish and all that stuff, yes, for sure.
Right. We created some great memories, and just like y'all are going to do in y'all's future as well. And maybe one day y'all can open something like that, because you have history and you have heart and you've had experiences by helping people that are underprivileged. And so hopefully that's something that we did in the past touches y'all's lives, and y'all go in that general direction at some point. Let's go down. You today struggle through so much. What advice as a college grad would you give to keep them moving forward? Now, I know that, like you said before, so many wants to give up when they get to a certain point, and you're studying all night long. There's a test tomorrow. You got so many different distractions. How do you stay that last?
I would say you need a lot of support. While you are your own motivation, you don't have to do everything by yourself. That's not what I was saying earlier. But having the right friends. I mean, you're going to go through a lot of friends in life. I'm sure once y'all really graduate and you don't see any of the people anymore, it's going to really open your eyes. but surrounding yourself with people who actually make you better as a person and not drag you down. And I had to go through friendships to learn that, and it's very draining, and it will hold you back if you don't make the right friends or you're not surrounded by the right people. So yes, like
That's really good.
making friends with people who have the same kind of goals as you, and not in the same like I'm gonna do this, this, and this, but I have goals at least, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have quite a few friends from college, and they're all in different directions, but we all had a direction.
Yeah.
So
And that's really good advice. Well, I'm going to ask these last 4 questions to all of y'all. And so we'll start with Shaden. What do you consider your strongest trait that you've developed so far through this journey of life?
oh, is it so hard?
I can name one right off the bat.
Personality.
That's exactly, you make people laugh.
It's got to be my it's my superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time like you see Shayden come into like the cafeteria or like the classroom, like they be like, oh, here he go. Like that's the kind of like personality he got. He's really funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
You've got a bit of your mom in you.
yeah, I mean, just open your eyes, like new horizons. You got to stop looking at everything one-sided.
Yeah,
it's-
you're a really positive person.
It's like looking through a keyhole, man. You can't see the whole thing until you open the door.
Yeah.
I just made that up on the spot. Somebody,
Well, that's
somebody write that down. Somebody write that down. That's probably already a quote, but I just couldn't.
Did you have a senior quote to put in your
No.
book?
No, they wouldn't let us.
Aw,
It's
man.
okay though.
That would be his
Write
quote.
it in anyways.
Yeah, I just came to me.
Well,
This is raw footage, people. This ain't scripted.
exactly.
Yeah, I think my personality probably brings a lot of people together. I mean, it probably made them mad, but I made memories. I made memories with people. Because I know that I'd rather be remembered. I know that sounds bad, but I'd rather be remembered poorly than forgotten.
Yeah.
Really? Why?
Well, because if you're forgotten, it's like saying, not like that, but if I'm annoying, they remember me because I was annoying, I'd rather be remembered for that than forgotten altogether.
So you wanted to make yourself known.
Impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, sure.
Well, I think that's also why you chose the thing in school.
Theater?
Theater.
Yeah.
Because when
Shout out to Miss Akers.
Yeah, she was pretty amazing. But I think I found so much joy when I went to those theater things that y'all
Yeah,
did, and I could just see you standing out there just glowing. And we talked about some of that today about what your career would look like if you did decide to go into the movies. And you discussed with me that you didn't want to go into that kind of environment, because you do have been brought up with morals. And so, I mentioned that there's a thing called Angel Studios that is Christian based all the way from front to finish. And so I think that you ought to consider something like that, because I think that you would bring a lot of joy to a lot of people.
Yeah,
This side job on top of the $50.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to get a good startup.
Yeah. That's smart. Build you a good foundation.
I want to build integrity, so not just have a bare slate where well, so what have you done? And I did a high school play. That's it. Yeah. I want to.
It's not just it.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not
it
just-
was it's what made you what you are.
Yeah, that's I want to
Part of it.
have a name out there, because if you ain't got no background to yourself, you're just
Somebody.
That's true. You just
You're just
another
somebody.
thing I learned was making connections. Most important thing you do. Again, don't have to be the smartest, but if you know the right people, you talk to people, you let people get to know you, that's it. It really opens doors as well.
I mean, I'm grateful for my boss. He's taught me a lot of stuff that I couldn't. Because I'm not saying I didn't have a father. I didn't have a father figure, but my Uncle Bubba. A lot of people that I looked up to, Coach Foreman, Meeker, Fowler. There's a lot of people. They really shape you into who you want to be. You just pick parts out of them that are good. That's not saying they're bad, but oh, I want to be that. I want to be this, and that. And it just takes a lot. Does it look bad?
No.
I don't know now.
It's okay.
It's Shaden. It's Shaden.
Yeah, just personality plays a big part
Yeah,
in how
it
people
does.
remember you.
It does. You have to have a good personality. You can't be bland, because if you were going on, that when you go to interviews and stuff, they're not gonna-
That's what
they're
I'm
not
saying.
gonna
I know
remember the most
you're
qualified
You could have
person.
good. You could have good work ethic, but if you're a little turd to people, And no one's gonna work with you. You're never gonna get hired.
Yeah.
It's better to be.
You got to make an impression,
Yeah.
a good one.
First
Exactly.
impressions are always the best.
Y'all just saw an example of his personality right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I try to be. I try to be. Try to be the
Anybody
brightest
else would
bulb.
like to talk about their strongest traits?
My strongest trait will honestly just be my support system to people. I mean, like throughout school for class and like in classrooms, even for like family, like I love to support people throughout the way, you know, and you know, I just love, you know, helping people out and stuff like that, even if it's like classwork or even if it's just something that, you know, if they need to cry to me about, rant to me, vent to
Compassion.
me, yes. I just like to be, you know, to have that, you know, give them that support system that they need because I really do believe that everybody needs a support system. You know,
Absolutely.
whether that be God, whether that be a family member, whether that be a friend or whoever you may choose to, you know, have your support system as.
I agree.
But you know, that's some people need that in this world. Right now, we live in a world where there's just a lot of things going on.
Yeah, everybody's isolating themselves.
Yes, and you know, it's just crazy. So I feel like with a support system, you know, you can get distracted from the real world and, you know, focus on what really matters, which is, you know, living your life, having connections and things like that. So
Yeah,
really good,
I
Olivia.
really isolated myself in college my first year, and it was more because I was really burnt out from everything that I had done in high school, and I was like, you know what? You deserve a break. Wrong. Wrong answer. Yeah, it was probably not the greatest year, and just because I was alone, and then I came around that second year, I'm like, you don't have to be alone. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
And it just made life so much more fun and a lot easier, and I don't know, I would never recommend anybody doing anything on their own, whether it's college, work.
I agree with the, you know, that part. Like, whenever I was younger, I used to always think, well, I'm going to forever be alone. Like, I'm not going to have any friends. People are going to think I'm annoying and stuff like that. People just think that I'm just weird and stuff like that. And I just stopped, like, making friends. I was like, I'm not even going to make friends. You can ask some of my friends now. Like, back then, like, I was just like, I'm not going to make any friends. But, you know, I think senior year has really pushed me to start talking to people more, even being on camera. That's something that I wouldn't even do whenever if you were to ask me like 11 years old to be on camera, I would say immediately no.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in front of like cameras and stuff like that, you know, and that's like, you know, I just, that's something that I, you know, grew out of was being alone and being isolated and just being by myself. And it actually made me really depressed being alone.
Yeah.
So, you know, having friends, you know, like I have my friends Brooke, I have my friends Haley, I have my best friend LaTanya, and then I have my family and my boyfriend Logan. You know, those people really helped me change who I am today and make me like become more outspoken.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely being yourself. Being yourself will attract the right people. Because if you're not, you know, the wrong people are always going to come around. And then you realize, boop, what did I just do?
Exactly. And they're not always going to be, you know, your friend. You're going to come across situations and stuff with controversy and challenges throughout your whole life. And you have to know how to handle these situations and putting faith. I've learned here lately that how important that really is, and it's a good quality to have. So I'm going to finish up really quick by asking you both, all three, this one last question. What do you want to say to your friends, and especially your family, that has supported your journey? This is your opportunity to speak to them and you can tell them now. What do you got to say to them? There's been a lot of people.
Oh man. I'm just gonna make this short and sweet. Over the years, you know, a lot of people I've made my friends, companions. A lot of people I've lost. You know, there's like some regrets. I know you shouldn't carry any, but there's regrets I have a lot actually. But if I could change them, I still wouldn't. You know, because like I feel like it would have an impact on me now. You know, I just let it be. I love my mom, mostly my brother, like my
You
family.
have an amazing family.
I still love my other family. You know, just
Yeah.
a little bit.
I love everyone.
Yeah. My friends. You know, I'm glad to like have somebody like share memories with. You know, school got really lonely freshman year. And it's like something I know parents say, you can say anything, but like school and like personal stuff, I feel like you just can't put it together because you don't want to have like a buddy relationship with your kid.
Right.
You know, I'd rather have to like keep them separate. But yeah, I love everybody. Yeah.
Well, I have to say this because, I'm on Facebook a lot, and your journey has been before me since you've been a little boy. And what I've seen throughout Bubba and Jessica and your mom and all them, y'all had chainsaws in your hand when you were 3. I mean, then it went from blowtorches. I mean, all these things and the experiences that you had that you learned with leadership and people who cared about you. And see, a lot of kids don't have that opportunity. So to watch you have that kind of foundation is who built your character along the way. And you are very lucky to have a family like you have.
Stay humble and be grateful for the people you got. If anything, I feel like I'm rich.
Amen.
More than a lot of people. I mean, I got a house. I got family that loves me. I got siblings.
Yeah.
You never want to get to the saying you don't know what you have till you lose them. You just need to appreciate it now.
Yeah. Olivia?
I'm gonna do classmates and friends and family separate. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
Or short and sweet. Okay, so I would say to my friends, never stop. Just never stop. Keep grinding, and whatever you want to do in life, keep going. I promise you, whenever I was a little kid, I had no motivation, personally. I just had no motivation to do anything because I just felt like, well, I'm just a slump, But, later on in life, I realized, I was like, you know what? I can do this, If I just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, then I will get to where I am, today, which, I'm about to graduate tomorrow, So that's a really huge blessing in my life and things like that. And my
Our local
friends,
train.
I'm still. And then when it comes to, my friends and stuff like that, just please, still stay in contact with the people who you love. Please, please, please do.
Yeah.
That's one big lesson I've learned over the years is keep in contact with the people who you love because you never know what could happen. You just never know. And, keep, having your family on your side, your friends on your side, anybody else on your side. Classmates, keep going and keep having the motivation you have. If you want to go to college, keep that motivation. If you want to do trade school, keep that motivation. If you just want to go to work and you got a good job opportunity, keep going, There shouldn't be a reason why you stop. Just because you don't want to, you should have, you should keep going, because it's really going to help you in your future.
Amen.
To my family, thank y'all for being my support system. Thank y'all for just helping me, get through life because without y'all, I honestly don't know where I would be right now. And now I'm about to go off to college. I never thought I was going to go to college. It sounds very unrealistic whenever I was 11. But,
It's your day.
you just, thank y'all for helping me. And even for my friends and even for my classmates as well. Thank y'all for making me the person who I am today and motivating me to stay, focused on life and keep doing what you want to do because nobody can stop it.
Amen, girl. That's good stuff.
Mine's short and simple. I've had a lot of support over the last few years from my friends, but also especially my family. Couldn't have done it without them. And I'm really glad that I moved back because I didn't realize how close I needed to be with my family. Because when I used to go to Texas Tech, that's 8 hours away from here. When I moved back, I was like, wow, I missed out on so much. So I agree that you should stay close in contact with your family. And I'm just glad about the relationships I have to this current day because these are lifetime relationships with friends and family. So
yeah. Well, that's all I have. And all I want to say is congratulations to each and every one of you. I want to thank all of y'all for watching today and allowing these young people to share their accomplishments and share their dreams and share their amazing journey that they're about to have. And so I thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next time on Breaking the Chains. No. It's off, right? Okay. Yeah. That was very good. See? Now y'all know what. Now that's what you need to start doing is podcast and.
I really want to get into the podcast thing.
Yeah, and make some funny things and Yeah.